Right now, on To the Point.
A new bill could impact just how much you can profit from reselling tickets to an event. Hear how it'll impact local venues like right here at the Crest Theater.
Tonight, new hope for Glenn County's only hospital forced to close its emergency care. What it will take to get those doors back open.
Legislators are hoping to tackle the home insurance crisis, passing on the costs from Californians to big corporations they say are the driving forces behind climate change.
A pregnant runner is hit by a car. In our Champions of Hope, how quick action and compassion saved 2 lives. A new bill could soon limit how much money people can make off concerts and event tickets. Good evening. Thank you for joining us on To the Point. I'm Becca Habiger. The bill is meant to stop resellers from mass buying and then jacking up prices. ABC 10's Jeannie Nguyen shares with us how the bill would work and why critics warn this could maybe actually hurt fans.
Becca, the bill would put a cap on how much money you get back if you resell a ticket for event venues like the Sacramento Crest Theater. The owner tells me he thinks it would benefit his business, but an organization representing the resale market says this bill would end up costing fans more.
$2 movie nights at the Crest Theater is something owner Robert Emmerich says is his treat for the community.
I think we get 35 cents or something for the ticket. And with the intent that we have something affordable for the community.
With the intention of having something affordable for the community, Emmerich says mass resellers end up turning a major profit on his low-priced tickets.
These bots go in there and then they intercept our tickets and then they turn around and try to resell the tickets for, say, $10 or $20.
Democratic Assemblymember Matt Haney is hoping his bill, AB 1720, can put an end to the price gouging from mass resellers.
You can resell the ticket, but you can only sell it for the face value of the ticket plus 10%. That is inclusive of fees.
If passed, it would apply to live events like concerts, comedy shows, theatrical productions, but not sporting events. Haney says his bill would target the bots and scalpers who jack up the cost of tickets, hurting fans and the artists.
And they're not even fans. They're just using it as a way to make money. And then they squeeze every dollar out of your pocket because you're a real fan that actually wants to see a performer that you love.
But the Ticket Policy Forum, a coalition representing secondary ticketing marketplaces, believes this bill would hurt consumers. They say healthy competition creates lower prices, and this issue should be addressed a different way.
It does nothing to stop Ticketmaster from asking astronomical prices, abusing fans, and continuing to use its monopoly power to stop real competition in ticketing.
Haney says with his bill, fans will be able to recoup their funds if they can't make an event. This is something Emmerich believes will not only help his business, but his customers as well.
I think that the concept of limiting resale to 10% over face value is an absolute wonderful idea. It's going to protect the consumer and it's going to reduce the incentive for fraud.
And there is another bill making its way through the legislature that the Ticket Policy Forum also opposes. Assembly Bill 1349 would put more limits on mass ticket purchases with the purpose of reselling for profit. That bill recently passed in the Assembly and will head to the Senate next. Becca.
Jeannie, thank you. Continuing coverage now of that massive power outage in downtown and South Stockton. Days after the train derailment that led to the blackout, work is continuing. The power outage happened Monday morning when 3 cars derailed at the Union Pacific Yard in Stockton, crashing into a transmission tower and damaging several others. We're learning tonight the state's Public Utilities Commission is now looking into the derailment. The Federal Railroad Administration said it will receive a report on the derailment, but that railroad property damage did not meet the threshold to warrant a federal investigation. Now, PG&E says they expect temporary work on their equipment to wrap up by Saturday, but that more permanent construction will likely be needed in the future. Meanwhile, across downtown and South Stockton, businesses say they are still counting the losses.
We lost a few $1,000s in product, meats, fish, things like that. So it was a pretty bad day, and then we couldn't open. So whatever money we would have made on Monday, we lost as well.
Caused the outage. PG&E may not be able to offer any resources. Union Pacific did not respond to our interview requests, but they say the involved rail cars have been removed. The railroad has been repaired and no one, thankfully, was injured in the derailment. And days after that Stockton train crash that caused the power outages, California Congressman John Garamendi called for the passing of a bipartisan Railroad Safety Act. Some of the measures proposed include requiring 2 crew members to operate a train, requiring railroads to use defect detectors to help prevent derailments, and holding railroads accountable for safety violations through increased fines.
Rail safety is very, very important for the communities. These railroads and the rails run right through the community. I was thinking about Davis, California. I could just go right on down the line, Sacramento. All of those communities are affected by the railroads. And this rail safety bill covers sensible things.
Reach out to the American Association of Railroads for their opinion on the legislation. They sent a statement saying, in part, quote, "We have never opposed the Railroad Safety Act, and we share the goal of a safer rail network, but parts of the bill rely on prescriptive mandates and assumptions that are not supported by evidence and could undermine what is already working." Well, a rural northern hospital is getting a new life. Last fall, we brought you the story about the closure of Glenn County Medical Center's emergency department. It's the only hospital in Glenn County. After 24 years, it lost a key federal designation. Under the Center for Medicaid Services critical access rules, hospitals must be at least 35 miles apart to qualify for certain federal funding. Well, Glenn Medical is just 32 miles from its nearest neighbor, Colusa Medical Center. Today, though, we learned the federal government approved a bill that restores Glenn County Hospital's critical access status. The fix is a critical step to reopening the facility. In a statement, Senator Adam Schiff credited the late Congressman Doug LaMalfa, who worked to get the bill through the Senate. Senator Schiff also said in part, quote, "Around the country, rural hospitals are in trouble and under enormous financial stress. That's why I will stay in this fight to help Glenn fully reopen while working to ensure that all of our communities in California and across the country can keep their hospitals open." ABC 10 reached out to Glenn Medical Center Administrator Lauren Still, who provided a statement saying in part, quote, "This is another critical hurdle cleared in what has been a year of challenges that often felt insurmountable. With this stability secured, our focus now turns to the significant work ahead." Well, California lawmakers are working to bring home insurance rates down in light of more frequent and extreme weather events. ABC 10 State Matters political reporter Jenny Hupp breaks down a new piece of legislation for us.
Californians should not have to continue to pay the full cost of climate-driven disasters, given the role that fossil fuel corporations have played in getting us here.
Thursday morning, Democratic State Senator Scott Wiener, alongside advocates and survivors of disasters, including the Altadena fire and the historic 2024 San Diego floods, pushed for SB 982, the Affordable Insurance and Recovery Act.
We have to ask, who is not paying?
Ratepayers are paying, insurance companies are paying, the government is paying. The only group not paying is big oil.
And so Wiener's bill seeks to make large oil and gas companies pay for climate-fueled disasters, essentially by recouping costs on behalf of insurance companies and homeowners. Advocates say even the FAIR Plan, California's insurer of last resort for homeowners who can't get private coverage, is underwater and seeking major premium increases.
Insurance companies are leaving the state because of the cost of recovery here after a disaster is too great and doesn't pencil out for them.
California's Attorney General would sue those companies on behalf of victims.
Some of the big players, of course, are like Shell and Chevron and Exxon, but it's really any company that meets those size threshold.
Threshold of a revenue of at least $500 million over the past 3 years and was or is involved in the fossil fuel industry in California.
My house was completely submerged. My car floated away. I had to carry my pit bull out. The water was up to my waist. Since insurance was not enough, I'm in debt.
But opponents like Republican Assemblymember Carl DeMaio says Wiener's approach is misguided and would raise the price at the pump.
Who's going to pay for that? Yep, you got it. Me and you, the ratepayers, drivers on the road. The state gets a massive excise tax on every insurance policy.
DeMaio also says not charging that special state tax on insurance premiums, which contributes to overall state revenue, would be an option. Jenny Ha, ABC 10.
And that bill is set for its first committee hearing in the coming weeks. Well, still ahead on To The Point, the GOAT, as they say, 7-time champ Tom Brady makes a stop at Doco, drawing big crowds and big smiles. Plus, a shakeup at Sacramento City Unified as district leaders meet to confront a multi-million-dollar budget shortfall.
We've got one more day near 70 tomorrow, and then the pattern starts to change noticeably cooler by the time we get to Sunday. Chance for showers next week. I've got a full look at the forecast after the break.
But first, in other headlines tonight,
we believe Nancy is still out there. We want her home.
It's day 5 in the search for Today Show host Savannah Guthrie's mother, 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie. Investigators say they are still looking into a ransom letter, but have not determined if it is legitimate. The FBI is working alongside the Pima County Sheriff's Office and has offered a $50,000 reward. Investigators do believe Guthrie is still alive. Layoffs hit recession levels last month. That's according to a report by job placement firm Challenger, Gray & Christmas. They say January saw 108,000 job cuts. That's the highest number for a January since 2009, which was during the Great Recession. Much of that number is due to just 2 companies. 40% of the job cuts happened at UPS and Amazon. Plans to change about 50,000 federal employees' classifications are moving forward. The Trump administration issued a new rule today that allows agencies to shift senior staffers involved in policy into a new category, making them at-will employees, which could make them easier to fire. Some unions and advocacy groups say they plan to sue. Sacramento got a taste of the Super Bowl excitement today. This was the scene at Doco where crowds of people came to see 7-time Super Bowl champion Tom Brady. He hosted a fan event to celebrate his newly opened Card Vault store. We talked to one lucky fan about his encounter with the sports superstar.
Well, I seen him coming up and I was like, I didn't expect him to be that close to him because we were pretty far back in the crowd and I seen him come up. So I was like, I had an opportunity, so I was like, might as well try to get him to sign my ball, and he did it with a smile, so I was like, that's pretty cool.
Way to go, Isaiah. That's awesome. Well, fans got to toss around a football and what else? Trade cards. Well, Brendan Minchef, our ABC 10 meteorologist, is going to be giving us a weather update here. Looks like it was a beautiful day, though, to be tossing around those footballs. We hit 70 for a few seconds, you say?
A few seconds. Basically, a rounding error is the reason that the official high in Sacramento is 69 degrees. But some places in the valley did hit 70 degrees. Stockton did not, 67. Modesto did at 70 degrees. But even though Stockton only hit 67 degrees, that is still the warmest day of the year so far for Stockton. So you see, coming into today, the warmest temperatures that we've recorded in Sacramento, Stockton, Modesto, Vacaville, and Marysville, and then today's highs. So 69 ties yesterday in Sacramento. Stockton, 67, warmest day so far. 70 Modesto, warmest day. Vacaville at 72 is the warmest, and Marysville, 71 this afternoon. Also, now the warmest temperature of 2026. Of course, we will see warmer temperatures as the year goes on. But for early February, that is very spring-like, about 10 degrees warmer than normal. Right now, 62 in Sacramento, 57 in Stockton, 62 in Modesto, 62 up in Oroville, 59 in Placerville. Mid to upper 30s in the high country. Looking towards the Tower Bridge, we're going to have some clouds coming in tonight. Not a whole lot right now, but as we go through the next several hours, those clouds will build. I'm looking at a mostly cloudy period overnight tonight. And because we will be mainly cloudy, we will not have much fog in the valley. Some patchy fog is possible, but there's no dense fog advisory anywhere in Northern California tonight. First time in a little while that has been the case. We'll start Friday morning off in those mid 40s. By the time we get to a Friday afternoon, we are looking at one more very mild day near 70 degrees in the valley. We will be at about 70 in the foothills. So 72 in Modesto, 70 in Stockton, but much of the San Joaquin Valley, because of the lack of fog in the morning, will have a good chance of getting at or above 70, and much of the Sacramento metro area also looking at temperatures at maybe just a little bit above 70 degrees. High pressure starting to move out, though. This weak little low pressure coming in is going to bring us some clouds, some cooler temperatures heading into the weekend. And then this system that drops in on Tuesday is going to bring us a chance of some showers. So there's those clouds overnight, clearing as we go through Friday and Saturday. But that rain doesn't really start to show up until we get towards about Tuesday and Wednesday. Becca.
I'm seeing a rainy Valentine's Day there, perhaps. Well, coming up next, a federal judge hits pause on ending protections for Haitian immigrants, why elder care leaders say the uncertainty could put patient care at risk. And later in our Champions of Hope, an elite runner and a mom who nearly lost everything. The powerful story of resilience, teamwork, and a tiny fighter who beat the odds. The Sacramento City Unified School District superintendent has resigned. The Sacramento Bee is reporting Lisa Allen announced that in a staff meeting today, that today is her last day with the district. Allen served in the role for less than 3 years and has been with the district for nearly 30 years. We reached out to the district for confirmation. They said, though, that there will be a statement from the Board of Education at tonight's board meeting. And speaking of the board meeting, this is a live look. You can see it's just about to get ready. It is a packed house tonight. Staff members are expected to present updated financial numbers to the trustees. That's because the district faces a bleak financial outlook, as we've reported. It now surpasses the $51 million shortfall reported late last year. We have a crew at the meeting, and we'll have a full report on the outcome on Late News tonight at 11. For now, a federal judge has paused the Trump administration's termination of temporary protected status for hundreds of thousands of Haitians. This allows holders to live and work in the U.S., and it was set to expire this week, but the uncertainty has many who work in the elder care industry worried about what these immigration changes could mean for their field. Lee Waldman has the story.
There's no question that it could be fatal. I mean, when you remove workers, then care is disrupted.
Elder care industry leaders like Katie Smith Sloan are bracing for potential impacts to a key pillar of their workforce, immigrants. More than 350,000 Haitians were narrowly spared this week from losing their temporary protective status when a federal judge stepped in. A sizable share of them care for older Americans.
When we make changes to our immigration policies, when we suspend the opportunity for people to come to this country or send them back to their home country, it creates enormous amount of disruption.
Immigrants make up for more than a quarter of workers who provide direct care in long-term care settings, according to KFF, a health policy research group. They make up nearly 1/3 of those who work in home care. Katia Guillaume, a union leader representing home care workers, feels the attempts to cut TPS designations are being done maliciously.
They have been a valuable contribution to the healthcare industry that they work in, and it would be devastating to the already struggling healthcare system that we have.
The aging services industry is contending with over 300,000 openings on any given day, according to data from Leading Age. But it's more than the jobs themselves. The relationships between caretakers and their elderly clients aren't easily replaced.
You become family after a while.
You know, it's very personal care. That relationship is what makes it work.
In New York, I'm Lee Waldman.
She's an elite runner and was 6 months pregnant when she was hit by a car. In our Champions of Hope, we meet the doctor who stepped in and his team's life-saving actions. From neighbors helping neighbors to inspiring acts of kindness, each week we bring you a champion of hope. Tonight, after a pregnant runner was hit by a car, a team of doctors and nurses rushed to treat her and saved her baby.
I've been running, I think, 16 years or so.
Nicole Clancy isn't your average casual runner. Just ask her proud husband, Kevin.
Kaylee, I'll say it because Nicole's not going to say it. She's an Olympic trials qualifier in the marathon. She's won Run to Feed the Hungry 2 years.
She won the 5K in 2023 and 10K in 2024. In 2025, the couple was expecting their first child, and even then,
She was 6 months pregnant out, running 40 miles a week.
On one run last July, Nicole got hit by a car.
I mean, I don't remember the impact or any of that. So, I remember waking up in the ambulance and then thinking I thought I'd overslept or something.
A team of doctors and nurses at UC Davis Medical Center treated Nicole and saved her baby, who wasn't due for about another 3 months.
She seemed to not be terribly injured, but her baby was in real distress.
Dr. Jonathan Kohler is a professor of surgery and pediatric trauma medical director at UC Davis Health. He and his colleagues successfully saved baby Mackenzie.
So when Mackenzie was born, she was certainly not a full-term baby, but by our standards, she was actually sort of a giant.
Mackenzie overcame multiple medical issues and returned home nearly 2 months later, perfectly healthy.
Which is really cool to see.
Oh, Kenzie.
Now 7 months old, she is already running in her mom's footsteps. The family participated together in 2025's Run to Feed the Hungry. And Nicole, she recovered from her injuries and placed 3rd in the 5K.
You know, people say, like, don't take things for granted, and I feel like you never really think about it until it happens.
How cute is baby Mackenzie? We were all cooing about her earlier today. Well, thanks so much for watching and inviting us into your home. If you have something you think we should be looking into, you can reach out to us at tothepoint@abc10.com. And to watch stories featured on the show, you can download our free ABC 10 streaming app to your TV. We hope you have a great and safe night. We'll see you back here tomorrow.